You're not having to let them in, Heidi. They can just come.
Correct. They just have to use that link that I sent.
Okay. All right. Well, let's go ahead and get started then.
Okay. Well, let me dismiss all here so it's not in my thing. All right. So my name is Heidi Copeland. I'm an extension agent with the Leon County Cooperative Extension over on Paul Russell Road. And Mary asked me to do a cooking class. And so today I'm going to do it on cooking chicken cutlets. Mary, I don't know if I sent you the PDF. If not, I'll send it to you.
Yeah. If you'll send it, I'll send it to y'all all afterwards.
Okay, perfect. But anyway, so a chicken cutlet is basically just part of a chicken breast. And I don't know if you can see this here. I did it ahead of time just to make things go quicker. But this is half of a chicken breast. And if I weigh it, I have my handy dandy little scale out here as well. If I weigh just this half of a chicken breast, it's 5 ounces. And so they're so big sometimes it is a really good way to like cut down the size of these things. But anyway, so one of the things with chicken cutlets that you do is that you have to pound it so it's very thin. I'm going to move my camera just a little bit. Can you see the thing here?
Uh-huh.
And
now, Heidi, if you buy those chicken cutlets at the grocery store, you don't have to do all that, right?
Well, you can buy chicken breasts at the store, and the cutlets too are already done like that for you. Correct?
Yeah.
See how I'm just cutting it in the center? I'm kind of butterflying it just till I get almost to the middle, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this thing. It's called a mallet, and I'm going to pound it. And I've done that already to these, and see where I pounded it. This is a 6-ounce breast, and it's pounded so it's pretty thin all over. Rinse my hands real quick. All right. So
what's the purpose of pounding it?
So the purpose of pounding it is to make sure that it's an even thickness all throughout. So if you think about it, it would take me 30 minutes to cook a chicken breast that thick, right? And if you pound it so it's paper thin, not paper thin, but a 1/4 inch thick, then I can cook it in a matter of minutes. And so again, it helps if you, it does, some people don't like the bone, but it just makes it cook really quick. So the chicken breast, I picked that because it's fairly inexpensive. You know, sometimes you can get them for $1.99 a pound. Sometimes, they're $3.99 a pound. But for the most part, there's no waste on a chicken breast. You might get a little bit of fat like that, just cut it off, but you're not getting the bone, and you're not getting a whole lot of the connective collagen tissue and tendons and all that kind of stuff. So in a 3-ounce chicken breast, or 3.5-ounce chicken breast, about 165 calories, and it's 100% meat. So you're getting 100% protein. Years ago, people used to buy chicken, like a whole chicken, and cut it up, but now people pretty much buy chicken the way they want. If they like the legs, they buy the legs. If they like the thighs, they buy the thighs. And so the breast is the same way. I do cut them up myself and do this because it saves money, but also you can make stock out of the waste and things like that. So the thing that I'm going to start with is it's called a chicken schnitzel. And this is a German dish. And what you do is you dip some chicken breast in a cup of flour, then you dip it in an egg, and then you go ahead and roll it in some breadcrumbs. All right, and so what we're doing, and I'm putting it on my tray here. So what we're doing is we're trying to get the breading to stick to the chicken. So the flour is drying it off, and then the egg is helping the breadcrumb stick. And again, I'm gonna wash my hands. So if I'm cooking at my home, I'm not using gloves because it's my family that's there with me. And even at a restaurant, they don't necessarily have to use gloves if they are cooking something that's going to be heated. So anything you cook to heat is killing the germs. Okay. So after I go ahead and do that, I add it to a hot skillet with 2 tablespoons. I'm using butter, and I can easily cut it off with a stick so that I know that I'm just using 2 tablespoons. And I'm using a frying pan here because the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to use this. And again, a frying pan to me is a very versatile piece of equipment because even if you don't have power, you can run it off like an electric generator. And you can control the temperature really easily with the frying pan. So I'm going to cook this at about 375, and you see how the butter is melting? And the recipe really makes 4. I'm only going to do 2, but maybe I'll come back later and finish the other one. But I'm cooking it at 375, and I'm going to set my timer for 3 minutes, and I'm going to flip it after 3 minutes. All right. So the recipe that I gave you is for that's called chicken schnitzel. It's a German thing. You know, they do it with pork chops. They do it with that. In the South, we do similar thing with beef that you can maybe call chicken fried steak or something. And then the Italians use that same chicken schnitzel, and they turn it into Parmesan by putting cheese and marinara sauce on it. So that's very good as well. So the second thing I'm going to do is called chicken piccata. Does anybody ever eat at Olive Garden?
Mm-hmm.
And so Olive Garden has that really good dish called chicken piccata. And it's a very simple dish again. Just a chicken cutlet that I have pounded. And I'll show you in a minute. And these were just a little bit smaller, these breasts. So I only got like a 5-ounce piece out of those breasts. But with the chicken cutlet, what we're going to do is that we are just going to season it all over with salt and pepper. And I have recently read a book called Salt, Fat, Acid, and Heat. And the way she does a lot, I'm going to put it right here so you can see. She uses this kind of salt a lot in the book, so I went and bought it. It's called Morton's Kosher Crystals.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, if you can see that, it's just big chunks of salt. And so I started using that instead of table salt, just because I think it gives it a little bit of more of a kick without a whole lot of the sodium, because you're getting like a bite of crystal. And then it calls to put pepper on it. I personally like the brown pepper, and so I'm salting it, and I put pepper on it. And if everybody is paranoid like me right now, I keep I don't know what happened to them. I keep a thing. Oh yes. I keep my thing of Clorox right in the kitchen, and I wipe everything down. And so, one of the things with chicken, when you're playing with chicken, is that generally they say that we follow the rules that we were shown in our home. For instance, if we saw our mother thaw food in the sink, that's probably how we're thawing food at home. But the scientific research says that you're better off thawing food in your refrigerator and planning in advance than thawing in the sink, because the bacteria grows so quickly. Also, with something like chicken, if we saw our moms or grandmoms wash chicken, we're probably doing the same thing. We're washing chicken. And again, they're recommending to not do that practice because you're spreading the germs around when you're washing chicken. So our 3 minutes is up. I'm going to flip this chicken breast. And I'm going to set my timer again. All right, and in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and do a couple of these chicken breasts. Now the chicken piccata is just, I'm just putting these, dredging them, and that's a term that you might see sometimes, dredging them in flour, and then I'm going to saute them. I'm gonna do 4 of them this time, because I have a friend who just had surgery yesterday. Can you believe that? She broke her ankle, and so she's home. But would you like to be having surgery right now? That's kind of scary, isn't it? All right. So I'm a big fan of measuring, because again, if I don't measure, I just pour. And what happens when you just pour things? You don't have any idea how much fat you just used. And if we're concerned about calories, the fat is the most calorie dense thing that we eat. It has 7 calories per gram. So I just said that a 3-ounce chicken breast would have approximately 165 calories of pure protein. But if I didn't measure my fat, I could add easily that many calories to what I'm cooking with fat, because in just 1 tablespoon of olive oil, there's about 110 calories. So this recipe also calls to heat this 3 to 4 minutes per side. So I have my timer going, and in the meantime, I was going to get my thermometer out, because does anybody use a thermometer in cooking?
No, I'd like to know how. I never am quite sure about it.
Okay, so this to me is the best one. This one is called bimetallic stem thermometer. It's called an instant read. All right, it comes in a little sheath. The little sheath has a little thing on it right here where I can, if I'm boiling something, or maybe that's not the one. But anyway, it comes, I can hold it like this and go over my pot to boil, to see the temperature or something. But what I'm doing here is I'm cooking this chicken breast, and the timer just went off, and I can stick it in the middle of the chicken breast. You see how I stuck that horizontally through the middle of the chicken breast? And the timer right here is at, the thermometer is at 125 degrees. I know that chicken has to be cooked to an internal temperature of 160. So I'm going to turn the heat down a little bit, and I'm going to let it cook further. Mary, that's another class I did with the city. It was called, I have a little booklet. It's called the Kitchen Companion, and it goes over all the bacteria and stuff that you can get off of food. And it also talks about the importance of using a thermometer, not just in cooking, but in, like, keep one in your refrigerator, keep one in your freezer, so that you know what the temperatures are in those appliances.
Wow, that sounds good, because I don't know about thermometers. Now, where do you get that thermometer that you have?
You can buy this thermometer, and this is why I like it, because you can pick this up at Walmart, you can pick it up at Walgreens, you can pick it up at Publix. They have them all over the place.
It's called InstaRead.
Pardon me?
It's called InstaRead.
Instant read thermometer.
Oh, Instant Read.
This is about $3. This
wow.
here is about $100. Somebody gave it to me as a gift. I can't tell you how many times I've gone to use it and the battery's dead. So what? So I'd rather spend $3 and get this one.
Yeah, thanks for letting me know about that, for letting us know about that.
So now I'm going to turn these. My timer went off, and I'm sauteing them. again, not all pots, pans cook the same. I have to move this one a little bit because I see that it's not cooking quite good enough. All right, so
Heidi, does adding the flour add a lot of calories if you dredge it?
it says to dredge it in a half a cup of flour. So the flour might add like 15 calories because you're not getting a whole lot of calories in it. Okay. So now I'm looking at my instant read thermometer. I'm up to 140 degrees. I'm going to leave it here a little longer.
Will you get sick if you eat it under 160 degrees?
Chicken, yeah.
I know, will you get sick if it's not cooked to 100?
Well, I mean, I'm not saying you're going to get sick. What they're saying is there's a risk of getting sick. Because if your chicken has a salmonella or something, then that's the risk that you take. Okay? So I just put it in this one. Let's see what that is. Same thing, around 140. So I'm going to let it cook for another minute.
And if any of the rest of y'all have questions, just unmute and ask Heidi. This is very interactive.
One thing about this thermometer too is it's called an instant read. And so you're supposed to leave it sit in there for 15 seconds. So I will take it off a little bit before 160, because as it sits, it will cook a little bit more. And then also, this dish that I'm making here gets thrown back in the pan, so it will be done. It'll be also cooked in a minute. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit more oil in this pan. And now I'm going to put some garlic in it. And I'm not a real big gadget person, but I do like this particular gadget. It is called, it's a garlic press. And I put my garlic in there, and I am just pressing it through here until I don't have to get my hands dirty and all that. And so
you get that at Publix too?
You can get this at Publix, maybe not this particular brand, but you can get that at Publix. So I don't know if you can see that. It's very quickly cooking the garlic. Then it calls for capers. I've measured them. I put that in there. Whew. And then this is the other gadget that you buy at Publix. It's a lemon. Oh, you can get a lemon, lime, or orange. I think this is the lemon, but I have a lime. But you just put a little squeeze of that in there, and a little bit of wine. So now and if you don't like wine, you can use some kind of broth. I'm putting my things back in the pan, and we're going to simmer it for a minute or so. And in the meantime, let's see if this is done. I'm going to get a clean thermometer. Yeah. So can you see the temperature on there?
Mm-hmm.
So it's gone up to it's up to 160. So that is done. So this is a schnitzel. That is a 6-ounce chicken breast. You see how much? That's a pretty big serving, isn't it?
That's very
and then,
good.
If I was going to turn it into Parmesan, I could stick it with a spaghetti and put some cheese on it and then bake it, and that would be dinner. And now this one, I'm going to turn the heat up one more second. This one is called, like I said, chicken. Oh, I planned in advance because I said my friend just had surgery yesterday, so I'm going to send this their way, and they will give like 4 portions here. Let me put this down here. Save some for my husband for lunch. And then it gets coated with a sprinkling of parsley. So you see that in just a short period of time, like less than 20 minutes, I was able to make a meal, or turn it in, you know, the schnitzel could be turned into Parmesan, and the chicken piccata, if you change the wine and added mushrooms, you could do chicken marsala. So it's a very, very easy way to have a quick dinner that's nutritious and, quite frankly, very inexpensive when you think about the cost of the chicken breast. So, does anyone have any questions?
So Heidi, a lot of times when I've had chicken piccata somewhere, it's been kind of oily.
Oily?
People use more butter or olive oil or something. Yeah, you could see.
Yeah, I think so, Mary. And here again, like a cook at a restaurant, that's one of the things that they're saying that they really, you know, have really little control over in a restaurant is the amount of oil that the cook is using. Because what would take more time? For me to just dump and pour, or for me to measure and then do that? And so again, and fat undoubtedly does make your food taste good. Yeah.
And what is that pot that you cook the schnitzel in?
Oh, this is just a Cuisinart. The brand name is Cuisinart, but it is a electric skillet.
Oh, okay. So you just plug that in to the side.
Yeah, and I really like it because it's probably diameter-wise is bigger than a lot of my other pots or pans, and it has a nice lid on it too. You know, a nice glass lid that you can, you know, cover it or whatever. And then, you know, if you had to take it somewhere, it could be, you know, put on low to keep stuff hot.
Yeah.
So.
And again, if any of y'all have any questions or comments for Heidi, just unmute and ask her.
And here,
Especially if you
cooking
come
is
in
a lot of practice, and you know what works best for you. But you know, I've been using this skillet since 1980 something, and it still works fine.
Has that got a Teflon into
No,
it?
it's one of those things. It's a French pot, French skillet, and I don't speak French, Le Creuset or something, but it has like an iron coating, so it's much like an iron skillet.
Is that Cerealon or whatever that's so expensive?
Yeah, it's pretty expensive, but I don't remember in the 80s, it probably wasn't.
But you've had it that long. Well, that's good.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was wondering why you're using a metal spatula, because it looks Teflon from here.
No, it's like iron. But an iron skillet is, you know, I have several of them. And, here's another one, at least 30 years old.
Yeah.
5 years old. And, you know, all I do is clean it, make sure it's heated real well so no water gets in it. But, you know, I've never taken the time, even the outside of it is kind of, you know, but nothing sticks to it if you know, use the right heat and the right little, you know, keeps the pan in good shape.
Heidi, someone wants to know how much sodium is in the piccata dish with the capers added.
All right, so probably, let me look. I'll look at the capers.
Are capers high in sodium?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So the capers have, not bad, 115 milligrams per teaspoon. So they're like in the whole dish, there's like a little over 600. just in that. So, and that is one thing that I'm not saying that people with high blood pressure don't have to worry about sodium, but they do say that people with high blood pressure that do their own cooking don't have to worry as much about sodium, because if you think about it, that's 600 calories in 600 milligrams of sodium in 4 servings. Whereas if I pulled something out of the cabinet, I don't have a whole lot of prepared food. Let's see what I have. Here's a can of beans. There is 420 milligrams of sodium in 1/3 of a cup of these beans. So there's a lot of sodium in these beans. Would you ever think of that?
Mm-mm.
No, most people wouldn't. So again, if you're doing your own cooking, you have a lot better grasp on the amount of sodium. And they're also saying, I think I talked about this once before, that that some of these coarser salts are also can really help you reduce your sodium. I don't know if you can see that. Can you see that?
Yeah, I've got that kosher salt, and I was wondering when you would use it.
Well, you see how the big crystal for the
Yeah,
salt? So
yeah.
1/2 teaspoon of the kosher salt has 480 milligrams, where 1/2 teaspoon, 1/4 teaspoon of this has 590.
Wow.
And the way that's possible is because of weight. There's a lot less weight in salt in the coarser grain than in the other grain. So that doesn't mean that you should use this solely, Mary, because the kosher salt is not iodized. And you see how the iodized salt, we all need iodine in our diet. And this is one of the ways that we get it is by salt, plain old table salt.
What does iodine do for you?
Has something to do with a goiter. Have you ever, like back in the day, like 100 years ago, people would get these big,
Right.
like in their chin area, and it
Yeah.
was because they didn't have iodine in their diet, especially if they lived inland and not like, because I guess you get it from seafood, naturally from some things. So then, the government has fortified some of the food we eat, and one of them is they fortified is salt with iodine, just to get it.
So Heidi, I do a lot of the frozen chicken breast and cutlets because it's so much easier, for me, especially the individually wrapped ones.
Yeah.
But I mean, I look at what's in them and it looks like there's a bunch of stuff in them, and what do they do to those things?
Yeah, that's a problem sometimes. What they do is they inject them with a sodium solution, mainly to plump them up, and give them a little bit of taste. And so
you're always better off buying the chicken fresh.
I mean, that's my opinion, Mary, but for convenience sake, those things are pre-portioned and very, very easy.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do look to see what they add. Do they add, because why are they doing it?
Yeah, I don't know. There's something in there in particular that I can't remember, but I always wonder why that needs to be in there. And as far as thawing, like when I thaw those, I usually just put them in a bowl of cold water and let them thaw.
All right.
Is
That's
it
okay.
okay? You said
Yeah,
not to
so
use
there's
hot water.
3 acceptable methods to thaw, and one of them is in running cool water. If you're putting it and soaking it in cold water, chicken breast isn't going to take you 20 minutes, so that's fine. The other way is to pay attention and know that if you're eating chicken on Thursday, you need to get it out of the refrigerator, out of the freezer on Monday or Tuesday, so it will thaw in the refrigerator. And then the third way is to put it in the microwave. But if you're going to put it in the microwave to thaw, you need to use it right away, because some of the spots on the chicken will cook before the other ones are done. And then the fourth way is to use it as part of as an ingredient in your dish. So for instance, if I'm making like green chicken chili or something, and I have a bunch of chunks of chicken, I can just throw them in the dish and cook them that way.
Somebody wants to know how long these dishes will be good stored in the refrigerator.
All right, and that's a discussion that I think is an interesting one as well, because if I worked in a restaurant, I could store that in my refrigerator from now until next Thursday at the same time. I could have a full 7 days, but
Wow.
but they recommend that the home only stores them for 3 or 4 days. And I think one of the reasons for that is because, you know, in a restaurant, they're checking the temperature of the refrigerator, they're heating it to the right temperature, blah, blah, blah. Whereas in the home, especially now, you know, when everybody's home, how many times a day is that refrigerator door open and closed, open and closed, open and closed? So I'd say 3 or 4 days. But
Is that the same for chicken salad? Is that the same for chicken salad? I always worry I keep chicken salad too long and I'm going to get sick.
Yeah, that's the same.
3 to 4 days?
Yeah. Yeah. There's another chat. Let me see what the chat says. All right. How much sodium is? How long would these be good stored in the refrigerator? All right. Any other questions?
I don't guess so. That was excellent. And y'all, Heidi's going to send me the recipes, and I've got, I think I've got everybody down here. I've got, let me just tell you, Terry, Emma, Daniel, Anna, Kiwanis, Laura, Emily, Kay, Geraldine, Rose, Sarah, Jay, and Cheeseburger. I can't remember your first name.
Thea. Her name is Thea.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. So is there anybody I left off of here? And I'll send it to the ones that signed up that didn't get to show up. And then we're putting the recipes on the website too, y'all. And she's recorded this one for us, so this will also be on the website. If you have anybody that you want to direct to the Leon County website to watch this that maybe missed it today, or you want to watch it again, then you just go there. We appreciate you recording that, Heidi.
And I do want to show you my flowers. I did grow these.
Oh my gosh, they're beautiful.
Yeah, you know, there's nothing to do, so I've been sticking stuff in the ground a little bit. So yeah.
A lot of people I know are doing that. The garden centers are doing really well during COVID.
Now I can't tell you the same thing about the plants. I planted a zucchini and a squash. Both of those had a pull because of some bug. The tomato looks okay, but I still haven't eaten one. And something ate all my jalapeno peppers, and now I have some basil. But I'll also send Mary a recipe for something called for some okra, because I've started cooking okra on top of the stove like this in 1 tablespoon of oil, and it takes like 4 minutes in a real high heat and just moving it around.
Do you bread it with anything, or
Nope.
meal it, or flour
Let
it?
me show it to you because I made some earlier.
I was wondering how that did in a what is that Insta thing everybody's using now?
Oh, the Instapot. Yeah.
Is that what it's called? No, the
Instapot.
something fryer.
Oh,
Air fryer. The air fryer. Yeah, I think a lot of people are also doing okra in their air fryer, and it comes out really good. Is that cooked?
See, I don't know if you can. That doesn't look real good, but it heats up really well. I just wanted to get it, you know, clean it up and get it out of the refrigerator. But it's like 3 minutes and a tablespoon of oil, and it's really tasty.
Can't be nearly as good as the way my mama used to fry okra in that
no.
flour and
No. Yeah.
Okay, so everybody's saying thank you. Emily says she really enjoyed the session. Y'all, thanks all for joining in. We had more than you, Terry. We've had Sarah and Terry request vegan recipes, and we're gonna have. Is vegan's different than vegetarian?
Yeah, right? Vegan doesn't do any meat, cheese, or egg.
Okay, so maybe you could do one vegan, one vegetarian. I think a lot of people are trying to eat more plant-based.
Okay.
And I know the other night my son-in-law did stir fry with just eggplant and mushrooms and a few things, and it was to die for. Oh my gosh, it was so good.
Yeah. Well, and I know a lot of people love tofu that way too, put in a stir fry.
Yeah, because it takes on the flavor of everything else, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good idea.
And
Okay,
in
so
fact,
we'll-
you could do any of these that way as well, you know, a
With
toast.
tofu.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
But
thanks
one thing to
everybody.
remember too is that you want
Oh,
the heat high enough to saute the things, but not high enough to burn it.
okay, and then
Around.
Dan wanted to know if we could do dips. I guess that's dips like Dan, is that dips like for chips, that kind of dip? Or I guess you could use vegetables with it, right?
Or maybe salsas.
Yeah, some dips. Yeah, I love dips.
I'll do dips and tips. How about that?
Okay, well, let's get the date set for August then and the
Okay.
subjects, and I'll get
Oh,
them on
Greek
the
dips.
website.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, thanks everybody. Have a
All
good
right.
week.
You're welcome. Bye.
Thanks, Heidi. It was
You're
great.
welcome. Bye.
Bye.